Bioshock. In particular, this is Bioshock Remastered. Available on all major platforms for $20, or in a collection for $30. I have a complicated relationship with Bioshock, because it is the last truly long gaming session I ever did. Back in '08, I had just gotten my friend's old graphics card to put in my computer, which was still a giant upgrade for me. And I had no games that could put the card through its paces. But I had received a bootleg copy of Bioshock, so I installed it and started playing, and it was just about midnight when I started. I kept playing all through that night until I completely finished the game at about noon following day. So I played 12 hours straight of Bioshock, and it was amazing. Now, it also inspired me to read Atlas Shrugged, which is just a god-awful book. It is one of the worst things I've ever read. And I'm not even getting into the philosophy presented in Atlas Shrugged. I'm just talking about it from the standpoint of being a book. But we're not here to talk about Atlas Shrugged. We're here to talk about Bioshock. And Bioshock is pretty good. The graphics have aged well, partially because they are somewhat stylized, and stylized graphics always age better than, in giant air quotes, realistic graphics. It also has excellent voice acting, which is important because it's not just a couple of cutscenes that are voice acted. You find audio logs all throughout this game, and they are all interesting and all have great voice acting.
I saw one of the smugglers having a game of catching on the docks today, and this surprised me because his hands were crippled during the war. He was unloading the barge the other day when he was bitten from this sea slug. He woke up the next morning and he found he could move his fingers for the first time in years. I asked him if he still had that sea slug. As luck would have it, he did.
It is a first-person shooter where you have powers given to you by magic slug juice from under the sea that lets you shoot electricity and fire and bees, among other things. And you have a selection of wonderful weapons, from a simple 6-shooter revolver to a Tommy gun to makeshift grenade launchers and many others. And you can upgrade all of your powers and weapons. All of the enemies in the game have apparently been driven mad by the same goop that gives you powers. Yet, you don't seem to suffer any ill effects from using the same goop. Or maybe you do, and you just aren't aware. It's unclear. Though, when it comes to the powers, some of them serve utility purposes. So even though the electric power is not that good, you pretty much have to have it on your character at all times, because you're going to encounter puzzles where you need to use the electricity power. The game takes place in an undersea city that was originally founded as some kind of objectivist paradise. However, things went bad, as the objectivist paradise has either gone wrong or possibly come to its logical conclusion, depending on your philosophical view. But putting philosophy aside, the game actually did have an interesting story, with some interesting twists. And it also had a binary moral choice system, as you can either choose to kill a bunch of little girls or save a bunch of little girls. There's no in between. It's one or the other. And it is a single-player experience that will take you, well, about 12 hours. That's how long it took me the first time. And there's no multiplayer. Having said that, it is an experience worth having at least once, and certainly worth the $20 asking price. So, whether you play the original version from a used game shop, or you invest in the remastered edition, as shown here, it will be worth your time and money. And if you would be so kind, like and subscribe.